Okay, we don't usually talk about Taylor Swift on this channel. And it, like, I don't, she's obviously culturally relevant, but it's like, okay, cool. She has a white feminism thing going on. Great. She's dating a footballer, and it's hilarious to me that right wingers hate on her so much because she is like a pop country singer who's white and blonde, and she's dating a football player from Kansas City. And like, as a heterosexual couple, they should be the Republicans' favorite thing, and yet they're so mad at her. I think it's because she's like an independently wealthy woman, so they're just like always going to be mad at her for that kind of thing. But anyway, so it's relevant to the political situation more broadly because if she endorses one candidate or another, obviously she is a highly popular influencer. She has tons and tons of fans. So if she comes out and straight up says, I'm going to vote for so and so, she doesn't even have to tell her audience, and I also think you should. She's just going to lead by example, right? So we did get that endorsement. And this is not the main part of the story. I want to talk about one of the responses to her endorsement. So the main story is like afterwards, and it may or may not be in the title of the video. But yeah, so let's look at the Instagram post. She posts her and a picture of her cat, who is super fluffy and adorable, actually. She makes them think about sin, therefore they cannot like her. That's true. So Taylor Swift says, like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on the topics that matter to you the most. As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research, and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I will link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. And I do appreciate that she's kind of embracing that criticism, because it's one of the ways that people try to discredit her by saying like, well, whatever, you're just a childless cat lady, invoking the image of like, I mean, it's honestly like a historical image, right? Of the spinster. Yeah, so yeah, they created some AI image of her or something, and Trump said like, "Oh, look at this! I got the Taylor Swift endorsement." So now she's being very clear. Right after the debate, she posted this. Yeah, she's claiming the title of childless cat lady, which I do appreciate as a person who technically sort of has adopted, but I haven't had my own kid, and I do have a cat. So yes. So, but the main reason I wanted to talk about this is because one of the responses to this came from Elon. Now, of course, all the Republicans are mad. And like, Elon Musk can't even vote in our elections because he is not American, right? Like, or has he gotten his citizenship? But anyway, he's like from South Africa. Yeah, when someone is insulting you by basically just calling you non-traditional, it eventually becomes a compliment. Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I want to say this is not the tweet that I planned on talking about, but he says Toxoplasma gondii is a danger to our democracy. So he's basically saying that toxoplasmosis from cleaning cats' litter boxes is like causing brain damage and it's a danger to our democracy. Fascinating. Did he actually delete the tweet? No, he didn't. Okay, I found it. So, okay, the actual thing that I wanted to talk about here is that Elon Musk tweeted, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life." So, it's kind of hard to put into words what is wrong with this. I will give you a child. And this is in response to her endorsing Kamala Harris. Basically, what is happening here is Moira Donegan posted this and said, "He's sexualizing her as a form of degradation and punishment for her endorsement of Harris. It is retaliatory sexual harassment." And I agree. Like, I'm not sure what else to call this. Like, this is sexual harassment. This is saying, "I will have sex with you and impregnate you and guard your cats with my life." And for what is this, like him trying to persuade her somehow to not endorse Kamala Harris? Like, is this his way of trying to be like, "Oh, baby, I'll provide for you"? Like, girl, she has more money than you, I'm pretty sure. Didn't even offer her a horse. Yeah. And it's kind of a way of like, so it's threatening for sure. It's bringing like sex into it. And like, that's a way that men always exert power over women, by being like, "Yeah, well, you're nothing more than a hole. Like, you're nothing more than a baby maker." Like, it's gross on so many levels. She should sue for sexual harassment, honestly. And yeah, he's 20 years older than her. Mitternacht and I are here to ask you to hit like on the video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe. Click the bell if you feel like it. You don't have to, though. Feel free to check out the other links in the description because I sell merch like this cute tank top. I'm running a GoFundMe to try to move 2,000 miles across the country to a place where I have rights. And I have a Patreon with, he's smashing his face against my face. And it plays on so many of the historical notions that, "Oh, why don't you just, you don't worry your pretty little head about it. Why don't you close that pretty little mouth until I tell you what to do with it?" Or whatever. That like a woman exerting her power, being independent, and speaking her mind and getting politically involved, that those are all things to be infantilized. You pat her on the head and you send her back to the kitchen. Or, yeah, you make one of those comments that's like, "Don't open your mouth unless I'm putting something in it." You know what I mean? Like, it's sexual harassment. And it's like, yeah, it's retaliation. It's punishment for her using her platform to endorse the candidate that Elon Musk doesn't like. A lot of Elon's money is fake and in holdings. He has more fake money than her, but she has more paper. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so much of his wealth is like predicated on the hypothetical value of his company, as opposed to she just makes a ton of money from working. Like, she's a working woman. She does not need help. And yeah, like, I don't think it would be unreasonable for her to sue for sexual harassment, although I'm not sure how much would come from it. There's a reason she posted it on Instagram and not Twitter. Yeah, I mean, Musk was just saying again recently that he wants to remove the block and mute functions on Twitter. That would make the platform unfucking usable. Unusable. His money's fake like Trump's. Yeah, let him ruin some other planet. Send this man to Mars already. I did also see him posting about, like, going to Mars or whatever. I doubt she keeps all that cash liquid, though. I'm sure she has investments. Sure, yeah. But, like, I think that her money is, like, the investments that she's made are probably more tangible than, like, the hypothetical value of Tesla stocks. I don't know. But regardless, she does not need someone like Elon Musk to be like, I'll give you a child and guard your cats with my life. She does not need it. Removing block and mute is illegal in the US IIRC. I'm not sure if it's illegal in the US, but I know that it's illegal in Europe. So it's like, do you want to just make your app not usable in Europe anymore? Like, those are, and I think that it may also be the case that it's required for the Apple Store, like that you would not be able to host it on the Apple Store anymore. He'll give her a child that will disown him when they're 16. Right. Some of the people in the comments are like, here in the comments of this tweet, "Babe, try looking after the child you already have who hates you." Look after your own kid, bro. Weirdo. So those were some of the comments that I thought were like the zingers. And of course, some of the other comments on this other tweet are like, one way you know these guys don't actually respect motherhood is that they bring it up as a threat to women. It's not just disrespectful, it's deeply harmful and unacceptable in any discourse. Anyway, Musk has already lost Brazil. He's on his way to losing Europe. True. The Google Play and Apple Store require block and mute functions. So he's just trying to ruin the platform even further. I get the feeling he was high on ketamine when he wrote that. Maybe. I'm surprised that he hasn't deleted it. Like the fact that it's still up. I'm not a huge Swift fan, but I think she's pretty helpful politically. And as a person who is assigned female who loves cats, men who make those threats scare me. Right. Of course, he could not ever actually do anything, but it's like the fact that he thinks he can exert that, like that's the problem. The fact that he thinks that he can exert that kind of control, even just saying, oh yeah, I'll give you a child, you know? It's very chauvinistic, as the kids say. Thank you to the patrons, especially Bo E, Hapax Legomenon Patient Advocate, Tiago Nascimento, Mersh Rolvag, Sarah A, Jack, Amanda B, Michelle Frateroli, Michelle Winter, Wellington Marcus, Danielle McDonald, Suzanne Maynard, DZXN, Jamie Jam, Nova, Sojo, Pasnell Infinity, Elizabeth Bartell, Jericho, Athiet, Desi Quiche, Celeste, Mr. Atheist, Liam Hodgson, Kevin Young, and Ella V. Nobody.